they've had in years.
Oh, wonderful.
So 167 volunteers for Spring X already. Edgar is hosting Thursday Threads this Thursday, January 29th. We'll be selling new merchandise during lunch. Students should bring cash to make purchases, and prices are on the Bulldog Brief. Girls Who Brunch is taking place on Sunday, February 8th, and there's 200 folks registered for that event as well. Registration is now open for Topgolf on Monday, March 23rd, and you can see the Bulldog Brief for more info on that. Rutgers Health is presenting the Mental Health Awareness Parent Workshop this Thursday, January 29th, via Zoom. I think we covered that already. PTC would like you to save the date for the Parents' Night Out event and silent auction fundraiser on Friday, May 8th at JR's Pub in Woodbridge. They're seeking in-kind donations or purchases from their Amazon wish list, and you can connect with them on their pages to coordinate that. A note that given our snow day on Monday, the new last day of school will be Monday, June 22nd, and the next Board of Education meeting is on Tuesday, February 10th at 8 p.m.
Wonderful. Great job first time out.
I do.
Listen, and it's okay if you repeat some of the awesome things that our student board member shared, because they're worth repeating. We've got a lot of really great stuff going on, so thank you for that. All right, good humans. I believe we're at this point where I am going to move to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second? Don't be bashful. Y'all know you want to go. Mr. Glassberg. All in favor? All right. Good night, everyone.
Okay.
Probably ended up
Call the
being
meeting
twice
to order.
that after like a couple of years.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act pursuant to Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Said notice was published in the Home News Tribune on January 22nd of this year, posted in Borough Hall, and sent to the Star Ledger for information. All requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act were satisfied. Would you please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Adam, would you lead us off, please? Sure.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you. Joanne, can we have roll call, please?
Yes, of course. Ms. Clarkson? Here. Ms. Cohn? Here. Mr. Delia?
Here.
Mr. Erickson?
Here.
Ms. Gelber? My mic is off, I apologize. Mr. Grossman?
Here.
Ms. Koskowski?
Here.
Mr. Lifton? Mr. Love? Mr. Westrick?
Here.
Mr. Coglin?
Here.
Ms. Zachariah? Thank you.
Okay. Declare a quorum present. Thank you for coming this evening. It's come to my attention that as far as new business is concerned, 14 Ohio Avenue is going to be moved. Am I correct, Adam? We're moving that forward for,
Yes, that's being carried to March 5th. So if anybody's here for that application for 14 Ohio Avenue, the hearing has been carried to March 5th. I'll also just say, just out of caution, in case it has to be further carried, if that is known prior to the meeting, you can always check online on the Metuchen Planning Board's agendas to see if there's any updates for anything like that. But as of this time, it has been carried to March 5th. And there will not be any further notice in terms of the public notices that applicants have to advertise. The original notice still stands, but it is being moved to the 5th at this time.
okay. Thank you, Adam.
Sure.
All righty. So anyone who's there for that, that's the story for that one. And then we're moving on to 25-1401E, which is 247 Management. Applicant proposes to convert a two-story residential dwelling into a mixed-use dwelling and an office, so on and so forth. And the applicant would like to come forward and proceed with their case. We'll be happy to hear you.
Good evening. Good evening, Chairman. My name is Pankaj McNor. I'm from the law firm of Wiley Lavender. I'm representing the applicant in this matter.
Would you please speak up?
Sure.
Thank you.
My name is Pankaj McNor. I'm from the law firm of Wiley Lavender McNor. I represent the applicant property owner, 247 Main LLC, in connection with the property located at 247 Main Street, Block 151, Lots 8 in the Borough of Metuchen. This applicant is before the board seeking preliminary and final major site plan approval, conditional use approval, and related bulk variance and exception relief from an pre-existing non-conforming property in the R2 zone. The proposal involves no expansion of the building, no change to the existing footprint, no intensification of the use. Applicant proposes interior renovations to the dwelling, includes a conversion of the second floor office to a residential, as well as improvements to the outside. The applicant seeks approval to maintain the first floor office and a single two-bedroom residential unit on the second floor, along with site improvements that reduce impervious coverage, improve parking circulation, buffering, and landscape. Once again, the relief we're seeking is preliminary relief to existing setback conditions, impervious coverage, and site designs. As noted in the planners and engineers memorandum, this is not a use variance, and the conditional use standards seem to be satisfied. With the board's permission, I'd like to propose the following order of my witnesses. First, we'd like to call John Riggio, the project architect. He'll testify regarding the existing building, confirming there's no expansion, address the architectural elements related to the application, including the porch, which was noted in the memos, including building character and placement of AC condensers. Next, we'll call Donna Bullock, the professional engineer of Morgan Engineering. She'll testify regarding site plan including parking layout, drainage, lighting, and landscape, and address any of the engineering comments from staff reports. And finally, we'll call John DuPont of our planner, who will testify, providing planning testimony, addressing the conditional use approval, requested variance and exceptions, parking site function, and consistency with the zone and master plan. We also have the applicant's representative, Carrie Tam, who may be able to answer any questions if the board has. And we also have the the contractor involved in the project in the event questions are needed. And with that, I'd like to proceed with my first witness.
Please do. Swear me out.
All right. I'm going to swear you in, so please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Please state your name, spell your last, and then I'm sure the board would like to qualify you.
My name is John Riggio. Last name is spelled Riggio.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your professional credentials, Mr. Reggio.
Yeah, I'm a registered architect here in New Jersey, and I've had my office here on Main Street, Metuchen, for a number of years.
And have you testified before other boards before?
Yes, a few times.
Okay, very good. Anything else you'd like to add? Incidentally, if not, the board will accept you as an expert witness.
No, I'm okay.
Okay, very good.
And your license is currently active?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, the client had called me, is interested to making a conversion of the second floor from a commercial space to a dwelling or an apartment.
Part of that,
Okay, so I took a look at the house, did a zoning analysis, and noticed that even though she wanted to convert the use, it's only a conditional use to change the second floor from an office to an apartment. So from the very start of the job, my client knew they would have to get special board approval. And I went ahead and I made a very simple drawing. Even though it needs approval, the changes were very small, just a few adjustments to just add a kitchen, locate where the bedrooms are, living room, dining room, entrance doors, exit doors. That's about it. Yeah, I have them right here. Oh, okay, well, there's just two drawings. Yeah. Okay, so this is just a standard set of drawings for making changes to a house. It shows there the plot plan, which is showing the house that's on the property, the dimensions of where it's located. Just a simple diagram for this kind of job. Since there are no additions to the house, the plot plan is just very simply shown. Then it's on the right side, it's just showing some basic numbers for the existing floor area, existing zone, existing use. Just showing some description of the project, that there are some alterations. And then just go looking at the plan, you have the second floor plan showing the adjustments from the original plan to the new plan. They shows the plumbing riser diagram, that there are adjustments to the plumbing on the second floor. Then it shows here riser diagram has to do with the heating and cooling of the gas-fired fixtures. And showing there a wall partition. This is just showing a simple wall partition for this kind of job. It's all that's required. And I think the next sheet is the A2 sheet. Okay, what's happening there on the A2 sheet? That is showing the existing conditions and the walls that are going to get removed to make the project work as far as alteration for the dwelling space on the second floor in the front, and there's also the exit in the rear of the house. That's about it. It's a pretty simple job. Just since it needs the conditional approval, it would just need to get reviewed. That is the only thing about it. Otherwise, the construction is very simple on the project. No, everything is okay, thank you. Welcome.
Now, can we ask questions? Yeah,
We
yeah.
certainly can
And
ask
can you
questions.
please use the microphone?
Yes.
Both of you. Thank you. There are two microphones. Feel free to grab them.
There you go.
They come out. So
You can remove it and take it with you.
Yeah, Mr. McNor, probably best if you take that one, either point it at you or hold on to it, and then the witness, if you're going to be asking questions.
Okay, great.
There you go.
Mr. Riggio,
Yes.
what's the current use of the upstairs now?
Right now, it's just a simple business office.
So, okay, if it's an accountant,
I think what they did is they had different people renting it at the time. I think it started to become vacant. When I was there, no one was really renting anymore. They had moved out. I think there was some kind of, like a professional, like a psychiatrist or something like that. I don't know, but they had left.
so the house, the current use was one office on the downstairs and a second office on the upstairs?
What happened is they had each floor divided into different offices, depending on who's renting there. I think from the time I had inspected the house and made measurements, they had maybe at least two different offices on the first floor and at least one or two on the second floor.
So the entire building was used for commercial office space
Yes, that's correct.
or professional office space?
Yes.
And now they want to use the first floor to continue the use as a professional office, but the upstairs to be converted to a residential use?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so how does the person renting the upstairs, the residential part, how would they access the upstairs? Do they have to go through the office on the first floor? Is there a separate staircase? How do they get there?
There are two ways to get into the second floor. One, they can go into the front door. They have like a little entry area and then walk up a set of stairs. They could also access the second floor from the stair in the back. They have a wood stair that goes from the back parking lot and you go directly right up to the rear door of where the apartment is shown.
That's the external staircase, it's
Yes, correct.
outside.
No, it's not inside, it's an external staircase, yes. And I think it was already used like that for the commercial use. It wasn't just sitting there, they were using it to walk up and down stairs from the rear stairs.
Okay, so obviously somebody that's handicapped will not be renting that upstairs apartment.
That's correct, it isn't really accessible because it's an existing condition and just has the permitted requirement of getting a conditional use approval.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I just want to, again, get a clear picture. Is the apartment you indicated is 2 bedrooms?
Yes, let me just take a quick look at this. Yes, it just has 2 bedrooms.
And 1 bathroom?
Yes, 1 full bathroom for the 2 bedrooms, yes.
And downstairs,
Yes.
are there separate rooms but 1 office, or are there multiple professional offices?
Yeah, first floor has 1, 2, 3 large divided offices, 1 common area in the middle, and 1 toilet room. So the 3 rooms can get rented separately. They were already renting them separately with separate offices.
I see. But one
Right
of
now,
the,
that middle room was also used as a conference room, but we can get used also as an individual office too.
is the living room on the first floor what you're calling the common space?
Yeah, well, on the first floor, it was just office use, it wasn't used as an apartment. So the common space there, I'm not certain what they really use it for, but you sort of have to walk from the front of the building to the rear of the building to either use the toilet or exit from the back door. Sort of like a, just like a wide hallway. Maybe they could use it for like a lounge area or having lunch or something like that. And then the 3 rooms may get rented individually.
Okay, so you indicated that access to the residential use on the second floor was either the front door or the exterior staircase in the back. What is the access to the first floor, to the offices? Is that also front door and then there's a back door from the parking lot?
That's exactly what they have. They have a front entrance that goes to that same sort of lobby area that has 2 doors. One door is to go upstairs. One door you enter into that hallway into the first floor, which would have at the most, say, 3 divided offices. Then from the rear of the house, you can go directly right into the first floor. They have a door right there, and it just enters into that same common hallway space, and they could access into any of the 3 offices. But she could really rent the whole floor, rent 2 rooms, rent 3 rooms. That's how she has it done.
Okay, can I ask, and I'm not sure if it's a planner question or a legal question, for the uses on the first floor? It's not 1 office, it's up to 3 offices. Is that how the parking is calculated? Is based on 3 offices and 1 residential use?
So it would be basically the types of uses that they're going for. So some uses, it depends on how many professionals are in the space at once, or it could be just the square footage of the area. So typically, most of them, it's the square footage. So we base the parking spaces off of the square footage of each individual business. And then you go parking spaces and you add them up. And that's how many you're supposed to be required to have.
So you calculated 3 professional offices? I mean, is the calculation based on 3 professional offices on the first floor?
I'm sorry, let me just look at this real quick.
Okay,
fine, take your time.
I'm just trying to,
Get the doubt.
We will also have testimony from the engineer on that.
okay. Because you're asking for a parking, isn't there a parking? Are you requesting a parking variance?
Well,
No.
while Monet's taking a look at that to determine how she came up with that number, why don't we ask if other members of the board have a question for this witness while he's up there and available to you?
Hey, Chris.
Chris, I'm sorry, were you motioning?
That's fine. Could you pull up the first sheet? And can you zoom in to the second floor on the top left? If you can just, pan a little bit. So to be clear, we're taking the existing office space, which is about 900 square feet, and you're converting it into a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yes, correct.
Based on the plans, it looks like there's 2 full bathrooms.
Yeah, there is a 1 bathroom in the front of the building, and yeah, then there is another small bathroom in the back next to the kitchen, yes.
I assume the box is a shower stall.
Yes, correct, it's just
So,
like a
all right, so
3-by-3 shower.
so it's a 2 full, 2-bathroom apartment,
For
Ms.
the
Clarkson.
residential?
And if you don't, the board doesn't mind me going through just like 1 or 2 comments on my report?
No? I'm ready.
I just want to clarify, it looks like the living room, that's the room in the top left where that rear bathroom's going into. Is it intended to be a living room, or is that a 3rd bedroom?
I think the requirement of having that as a living room had to do with some different objections that came through the borough. So it's shown there as a living room, and then the dining room is a space right adjacent to the kitchen that has like a open area where there's no wall partition. So that's how it's arranged. So that is supposed to get used as a, yes, on the top left is the living room, and the middle space is a dining room.
All right, so it's intended to be a living room. I don't remember what my comments were, and it might have been because it just looks like it's going to function as a third bedroom. I think I assume the engineer is going to clarify what the parking requirements would be, but functionally, the difference between a 2 and a 3-bedroom apartment is 0.1 parking spaces.
Well, what happened is, I think originally we submitted the top left room as a dining room and the middle room as a living room, but for some reason, some of the objections preferred having the dining room next to the open kitchen.
That might,
I think if you look at the plan, I thought the living room in the middle was sort of like more like a common space, and the room up in the top left is more like a dining room. So I think as far as the apartment, I had always suggested to the client that they have a kitchen, dining room, and a living room. And then, of course, the 2 bedrooms that have a minimum would have 1 full bathroom. The full bathroom to the front, that's sort of like the request of the client of just having an extra bathroom, the full bath. So instead of having it as a closet or something, just fit in an extra bathroom. That was just sort of their request to have it like that.
understood. I think my question is I'm just focusing on a living room. I think the objection, this is from a couple months ago, was that there's a door to whether it's a dining room or living room, and there's a bathroom in it, which is extremely odd. I'm just saying, is that a third bedroom? In which case, I'm not sure that it's a big deal that is one, but this is confusing to me.
No, officially I suggested that you have to have a dining room, a living room, and a kitchen. I think the door there, it could get removed. It's not necessary to really have the door. And the other spaces, the full bath was just requested by the owner, having a closet in that room. Same idea, just having extra storage closet.
Sorry, Chris, are you saying that the entrance to the bathroom as pictured up there is from the living room?
Well, the living room, yes, the living room,
So
first of all, you need a door to go into it, and then there's a bathroom inside the living room as well as a closet, which I'm not sure it's really a living room. It just looks like a third bedroom. I guess what I'm asking is the applicant,
what is it?
do they want the third bedroom? Is this a mistake on the drawing? I'm not clear.
The owner will testify, but basically, we're seeking for 2 bedrooms.
Okay. Then I may suggest that perhaps we just get rid of that door so it does not become a third bedroom, or we can condition the approval that it's only a 2-bedroom apartment. But I don't think I have any objections that it could be a third bedroom, but that's subject to board review.
And
Again,
we're not seeking. It's
Okay.
essentially, it's 2 bedrooms that we're seeking.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, Chris, is it, do we decide that, or is that left open? So, do we decide, is there a 3-bedroom apartment up there, or a 2-bedroom?
I
Is
think,
that our
think-
purview?
well, if there's an issue with parking, yes, but and I'm sure the engineer explained the difference between the two is, again, only 0.1 parking spaces, so
So
it's
it
really
really
de minimis.
doesn't
But I think we need to hear from the applicant if they want a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom. I'm just raising it now because it just looks like a third bedroom. The drawing is not clear, that's all.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, just to answer the question, I didn't know the square footage thing, but, so it is 250, 1 parking space for every 250 square feet. And since the first floor has 1,176 square feet, they're required at least 5 parking spaces for the office use. Because it is 4.7, so we just rounded off 5. And then they said they're also providing 3 for the residential. So 5 and 3, they have 9 on their application. I'm only seeing 7 on here, but I'm guessing it's the overflow parking area that you have on the engineering side, but I'll let you testify with that.
But so really what you're saying is the parking that needs to be allocated to the office space on the bottom, it's going by square footage, not by how many businesses are in there. So if they rent it for 2 businesses versus 3, it's the same accommodations for parking.
Correct, because even if you did it individually, it'd still end up being the same amount of parking spaces, because they all go based off of the same amount of square footage.
Okay.
Right, it doesn't matter if it's 1 room or 3 rooms or 1 professional or 20
So it's
professionals.
just total square footage.
There you
Yes.
go.
Okay.
Okay, that answers that. Any other questions for this witness at this time? All right, please proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Right. I'd like to call the second witness, Donna Bullock, who's our engineer.
All right. Honest one in there.
Okay, I'm going to swear you in. So, can you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and spell your last.
Donna Bullock, Bullock. I am a project manager at Morgan Engineering in Island Heights, New Jersey. I have been providing professional testimonies in front of zoning boards and planning boards for the past 26 years, all over New Jersey, mostly Monmouth, Ocean, and Middlesex counties. I've been working in the civil engineering field for 38 years. And my license is current and valid.
Thank you,
And I
Ms.
have been before this board for another matter a couple months ago, like 4 months ago.
Okay, Ms. Bullock, welcome back to the board, and we will count you as the next.
Thank you very much. So, the property contains 9,548 square feet, or 0.22 acres, located in the R2 residential zone. The property is located on the west side of Main Street, also County Route 531, and approximately 171 feet south of its intersection with Spring Street. So the existing conditions are, we have a 146-foot wide deep lot by 65 feet wide, and it's developed with a 2-story single-family office building. There is a paver access way to the front step to get into the main access. There is a 12-foot wide asphalt access drive, allowing entry to get to the rear property line off of Main Street. In the rear, there is gravel, and there's asphalt parking and gravel areas and concrete. Like discussed, the rear access has access to the first story and the second story by the way of stairs, and then an upper level stair to the second story. And the stairs are existing. They meet the criteria for all the height requirements, and they are behind the building. It's not visible from the street. There's no need for any sewer or water connections for this application. Roof leaders currently discharge from the front toward Main Street, and the roof leaders in the back discharge to the parking lot. So what we're proposing, if we could do sheet 3. That document is a 4-sheet set entitled Preliminary and Final Major Site Plan. It's prepared by Morgan Engineering. It's dated 9/20/2024. And the last revision date is 9/11/2025.
Okay, so this is not something we have yet?
Yeah, we've submitted this.
If it's already, yeah, then we're okay. It's the same version, it's not revised or anything?
No, it's not revised.
Okay.
There we go. So what we have is, in the proposed condition, as you know, we're going to renovate the existing interior of the office building to have the first floor have office space, where the second floor will be a single unit, 2-bedroom residential unit, and there is no building expansion proposed. The asphalt parking area is to remain as it is, with a couple exemptions that we're going to do to upgrade the property to make it a little more functional and beautify it.
So what we're doing is, based on like the mixed use in this zone, we want to keep it as like residential appearance up. We want to keep it as residential and not turn it into the commercial look. And preserve what's already there so that no one would know that there's really, a retail business, a office space business going on. So we have a 12-foot wide drive that leads to the back of the property to where we have existing asphalt and non-delineated parking spaces. So what we intend on doing is there is a 5-foot strip of asphalt on the north side behind the building that we're going to remove so that when we establish the rear 5 parking spaces with bumper block, we can have a buffer, a landscape buffer in that 5-foot strip to block any headlights from veering into the adjacent property to the north. And there is that gravel portion, which is on the south side of the parking lot, which we're going to remove that gravel and we're going to turn that into a landscape bed. And what we're going to do is the 12-foot wide drive, we're going to increase it with the use of gravel to make it 16-foot wide. And as you enter in from Main Street, there's 2 parking spots that are like tandem that could be used for overflow. So that does meet the parking requirement, which I'll get to in a moment. But I do want to mention that by removing the 5-foot strip of asphalt, removing the gravel area, and removing some gravel at the front entranceway, we're reducing the impervious coverage from the existing 70.2 down to the new 60.6%. So that's a nice reduction on impervious surface area for this project. The parking striping in the back will be for 1 ADA space and 4 standard parking spaces. There are bumper blocks that are going to be at the edge of it so that there's no, overflow into the fence. We're going to add some traffic flow arrows to the existing asphalt surface. And now we can talk about the parking requirement, which, as mentioned, it is based on the square foot of the office use. So we have 1,176 square foot of floor area divided by 250, which is a requirement for the number of spaces per that area, which equates to 4.7 spaces required for the office use. For the residential apartment use per residential site improvement standards, 1 apartment with 2 bedrooms is 2.0 spaces. But now that it's been brought up about a third bedroom, the parking calculation for 3 bedrooms for an apartment use is 2.1 spaces. So if we total that up, the 4.7 plus the 2.1, we require 6.8 parking spaces, and we're providing 7. The 2 tandem in the front adjacent to the access drive, and the 5 spaces in the rear behind the building. So if there are 3 bedrooms to this, I don't know if that's the intent or not, but if there is, and it does become a 3-bedroom unit during this conversation or however it turns out, the parking still works. We will not need a waiver or a variance for the parking criteria. So I wanted to just clear that up to make sure, everyone knows. There's no new sign proposed. There's no site lighting proposed. We anticipate that they'll have the regular overhead door lightings like everyone's front and back porches. We are adding, one thing that we are adding to the site that's going to be new is a trash enclosure. It's going to be located directly behind the building to the south side of the steps as you come out of the lower level or the upper level. There's going to be 2 recycling bins and 2 regular trash bins. So the one set will be used for the office use, and the other set will be used for the tenant upstairs. They will then, on garbage day, bring the cans out to the street, just like anyone in, regular municipality pickup on garbage day would do. So in other areas on the site also, where there was gravel and we're removing the asphalt, we are adding in lawn areas and mulch beds for landscaped areas, and there are no trees to be removed for this application. If you could go to the next plan, I want to just see what the landscaping looks like. Yes, please. So basically what we've done was we've added landscape buffers. You could see that on the north side where the parking is, we have a hedgerow of trees that's going to help with the buffer area over there. We also provide a hedgerow on the south side next to the gravel area that we're removing and replacing that with lawn. It's going to just beautify. Anyone entering from the driveway could look back, and the first thing they're going to see in the back is a row of trees and a grassed area, and then they turn into the parking area. So it's going to be visually friendly. For the stormwater management, the roof leaders currently discharge to, the two in the front discharge to Main Street. The two in the back discharge to the existing asphalt area. What we do intend on is diverting the roof leaders from the rear of the house into that new mulched landscape area, which is north of the parking spaces, so that it can run off into, the mulch bed and things like that. So it'll reduce the runoff, and it won't just splash off now onto the asphalt and then just drain. So, and again, we're decreasing the impervious area, so there will be a decrease in the runoff from the site. Also, I want to note there's no alteration to the drainage pattern. We're not changing anything on this site. There's no new grading, there's nothing that's going to change the pattern, we're not going to create low points, it's going to remain as is. And the last thing I want to touch on really is deliveries. So the deliveries for this application are office supplies. So you're looking at having, maybe a Staples truck come and deliver paper. You're going to have your regular Amazon vans come and deliver whatever stuff we decide to buy. So that's not going to be an issue. When also the circulation pattern for the vehicles is going to remain exactly as it is now in the proposed condition, except the parking spaces will be 5 foot more into the parking aisle, but that parking aisle between the parking stalls and the start of that grass bed is 22 feet. So that's ample enough space for anyone who parks in one of those stalls to back out and then continue to pull and exit off onto Main Street. I think hopefully I've hit everything in a nutshell. I do want to mention real briefly the variances that we have, and we have a front yard setback where 25 feet is required. We're providing a 22.1 in the existing condition. The side yard setback requirement is 8 feet. We currently have 4.1 feet in the existing condition. The maximum impervious building coverage, as I explained before, the requirement is 50%, and we are reducing it from 70.2 to 60.6. And I think that's it for my testimony, my direct testimony. If anyone has any questions of me, I'd be glad to answer them.
There you go. Go right ahead, Ellen.
Again, I'm looking at the plan. How would someone utilizing the handicap space enter the building?
If they are in a wheelchair, they would not.
Okay.
So we have a handicap space because it's required per, regulations. Everyone who's handicapped doesn't necessarily always have a wheelchair. They might have,
No, I
things like
understand.
that. But there's no access for anyone with a wheelchair.
Okay. I guess that's not a problem, correct? Okay. You just have to provide the space, you don't have to provide access. Okay. you show I see the 5 parking spaces in the back,
Yes.
but you indicated, and I think the architect indicated, that there are either 7 or 9 spaces. I'm not quite sure what the total amount is. But I see the 5. Where are the others?
So if you look at the building, the center of the building, and you look toward the drive aisle, actually, is this?
Okay.
No.
They're parking in the, they're just
Overflow,
not
they're expanding.
identified?
Yeah, they're expanding. What? So they're technically two.
They're
So
on
I'm
the
calling up
plans, but
sheet
they're
3.
not, they're not identified on the plan as a parking space? Is that it?
So we're calling up sheet 3 now, and if we can.
Oh, overflow.
So
it
what I'm
would
going to
be
do is
like-
I'm sorry. I'm going to
Like
zoom into the
parking
area where the 2 spaces are.
Okay,
And,
they're just not delineated or identified
yeah,
on
well,
the plan.
they are. I have
I
a
mean-
I have a 2, and they have, yeah, so if you,
I see. Okay.
Could you unplug the HDMI?
Just like right in sync there.
It's where you have an arrow pointing to overflow parking area?
that is correct, and that number 2 indicates 2 spaces, and as
One
one pulls in,
behind
it's
the
parallel
other?
parking.
One car would park behind the other?
Yes.
Is there going to be any delineation on the ground?
No,
where-
this is a gravel area.
Okay, so obviously it's someone that has to know this parking lot to know that there are 2 parking spaces. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So there are 7 spaces?
There are a total of 7 standard parking stalls on this site.
Thank you.
What we intend on is that the residents will always park in the back. So what it would be, and the employees would park in the back, and then what would be is if you know, if someone, well, that would be, you know, if there's no parking in the back, you could park there, do your business, and then leave.
Now, I understand the improvements to the parking lot in the backyard, and are there any proposed improvements to the facade of the house, either the front, the sides, or the back?
Well, I was just speaking with the owner, and she did mention that she would like to do new siding. So she would like to do that at some point.
I'm sorry, I'd like to use
New siding,
siding,
sorry.
okay?
So there's things that she intends on doing after this to
But
beautify.
they're not part of this application,
No,
right?
we're keeping the residential look just as is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, other board members' questions for this witness? Chris, want to jump in on your memo? Thank you.
Just a couple questions. So the 2 spaces are meant to be overflow and there's no signage related to that?
Well, if I see your issue, if you would like, we could put signage, you know, park here, you know, something like that.
So I think when I look at shared parking from like an Urban Land Institute point of view, I mean, office and residential share perfectly. When office is in use, residents are typically not home. When office closes at 5, hopefully the residents come home. And on weekends, office is closed, residents are home, presumably all day or in or out. I would tend to think perhaps 5 parking spaces on its own might be sufficient, which would trigger, I guess we'd call it an exception for parking. But if there ever was a need for overflow, so to speak, I think I would rather allow them to temporarily park in a landscape area, assuming it's lawn area in the back, and just not deal with this extra signage or striping, because that might detract from the residential look of the streetscape.
Okay,
That's my opinion. I did speak to the board engineer yesterday. She just had a comment about whether that was needed, and I promised her I would bring that
great.
up.
No, but that, we would be really happy to do that and not have to worry and just have the 5 spaces, and if it ever does become an issue,
They could park in the
we can
the
make it
grassy
parking.
area in the back.
Right.
I think that was really my comments on the engineering. I did miss a question for the architect, but maybe you could answer it. Given that there's a new use on the second floor, I assume we'll have some heating and its own heating and air conditioning system. Do you anticipate an AC unit on the ground being mounted or provided?
I actually don't know the answer to that. I forgot that one about the AC unit, but
Yeah, I think I missed it in my memo. But if you were to provide one, you'll comply with the ordinance? Just make sure it's not in the front yard?
yes, it would not be in the front yard
Okay.
if needed. I mean, there might already be ample ACs and things that work with the house right now.
And do you feel the lighting's sufficient?
I do.
Okay. Are you aware if the applicant had heard complaints from the neighbors about lighting?
No,
Okay. If there ever were, would the applicant agree to put shields on and whatnot?
certainly.
Okay.
That's why we don't have any lighting per the parking criterias in the ordinances, because we just want to have the maybe motion sensors in the back, not to disturb the neighbors.
Yes. And then the landscaping, I had a comment, just tweak the diversities. And I would like the Shade Tree Commission to comment on the species of the trees being proposed.
Be glad to. I'm not good at landscaping at all. I don't know what I'm looking at.
Me neither.
So I love suggestions on that end. Thank you.
I don't think I have any other comments.
Chris, did I hear you say you were talking to Nikki about this yesterday?
I'm sorry?
Were you talking to Nikki from Colliers about this yesterday?
Nikki, yes.
Yeah. Just since she's not with us, anything else that she might have mentioned to you of import, since this is her wheelhouse? Did you-
I did not, but
Yeah,
Ms. Whitehead, you?
I do
okay.
have 2 questions that I spoke with Nikki about this morning.
Did you? Okay.
I know that we kind of mentioned the stuff about the parking. I just want to make sure that we have this on the record, that will there be designated spaces for the residential use with
We
parking
don't want
areas?
to, because
Okay.
like just mentioned, what Chris just mentioned is there's going to be residents there at night, and then they're going to be at work during the day, and then, like, an employee might come. We would rather not have to do that, because
Yeah.
then it might then park on the grass when they don't need to.
Gotcha. Just wanted to kind of clarify that there would be no designated spots for the residential use. And second, I noticed that you mentioned the drainage, the roof leaders going
Yes.
to the back grass bed, I believe that you said.
Yes.
And just so you know that if there's any type of drainage problems that are happening over there and going to the neighboring property, it would be on the applicant to fix those things and make sure it comes into compliance with water runoff.
Yes, and I'd like to mention also that I agree with everything in Collier's engineer's letter, and anything regarding site-specific requests such as that will be noted on the plan.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. That takes care of that. Any other questions for this witness? Okay, being none, I'm going to ask
Thank
you
you.
to proceed. Thank you, Ms. Muller.
Thank you. I'd like to call the last witness, Mr. John DuPont.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and spell your last.
John P. DuPont, DuPont, D-U-P-O-N-T.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, John.
I am a professional engineer as well as planner in the state of New Jersey. I've served for the last 28 years as the Planning and Zoning Board engineer and planner for the Borough of Carteret. I've been through boards throughout the state, including your planning board several times. I don't believe this board.
Well then, certainly qualified as an expert. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
I believe I saw you in the last month. I asked.
We have.
I asked
We
you.
have. We've seen a couple. That's right.
I asked you already. I'm assuming your license is still active.
They are still active, current, yeah, in good
No
standing.
problem. Okay, good.
All right, so I know you've heard a lot about the case, and I'm going to go through it a little quickly and see if I have the answering questions, I certainly will. So the site contains an existing building. It has an accounting office on the first floor. It's vacant office space on the second floor. There's also parking, as you heard, in the rear of the property, and there's some landscaping. The applicant's proposing to take the existing structure and renovate it. No expansion of the footprint. Again, keep an accounting firm on the first floor a two-bedroom apartment on the second floor, provides 7 parking spaces on site. We are going to reduce the existing impervious coverage to add a little more landscaping, and there's no changes to any setbacks or projections. The relief requested is completely related to the existing conditions. Existing front yard setback, allowable 25 feet, existing and proposed condition, 22.1 feet. Existing side yard setback, allowable 8 feet, existing and proposed, 4.1 feet. Impervious coverage, allowable 50% maximum, currently 70.2%, reducing it down to 60.9%. That's the additional landscaping. Driveway aisles, 24 feet required, currently 11.5 in the front, 23 in the back. We're going to 16 feet in the front, 22 in the back. Permanent projections. Your ordinance allows non-enclosed porches, entry platforms, steps leading into a first floor, excluding decks, a minimum of 8 foot of a projection into a front yard or side yard setback, both existing and proposed, 8.4 feet on the front porch, and 18.4 into the rear, and 13.9 to the front yard setback. Existing, again, no changes. When we looked at this case, I did a little look into your municipal records. In December 1987, this property received approval to become a law office on the first floor. So it's been a professional office on the first floor since then. And all the setbacks have existed since then as well. So the professional office use has been lawfully existing on the property for some time. The conditional use in the zone, if we look in the R2 zone, the professional office is a conditional use. There is one condition that must be met. 110-60C2, offices or apartments provided that such are located on a lot fronting Main Street between Lehigh Valley Railroad line and to the north and the B2 neighborhood to the south. We're in that location, so I feel comfortable that we meet the condition of the use variance. As far as bulk variances go, again, we talked about it. It relates directly to the existing conditions. We're going to look at the benefits and detriments quickly. As a C2 flexible, we are reducing the impervious coverage. We're formalizing and improving the parking lot. We're maintaining the already approved professional use. We're not expanding any nonconformities. And we're advancing several purposes of the MLU wall. I'll give you one purpose, purpose A, to promote the general welfare. We are improving a property, we're reducing nonconformities. And I'll give you one more, purpose I, to improve visual environment. We're renovating the site, we're keeping the existing structure, and we're modernizing it. The benefits of this project clearly outweighs the detriments. So I'm trying to flip one page. I see no substantial detriment to the public good, no substantial impairment to the zone plan. The professional office is specifically contemplated in the R2 zone. The board has previously accepted that use, and this proposal represents a reinvestment in the property. It is my professional planning opinion that the office has existed since '87. It does meet all the conditions of the zone. The bulk variances have been improved, not worsened. The applicant will not cause substantial detriment to the public good. The applicant will not substantially impair the intent or purpose of your zone plan or your zoning ordinance. And the application represents a reinvestment and an improvement of a lawfully approved professional use with no expansions of any nonconformities. And that is my planning testimony.
Okay, board members, questions for Mr. DuPont?
Mr. DuPont, I don't have any problems with the conditional use. And certainly, probably the house was built to be a residence in the first place and converted to a professional use on the first floor in conformance with zoning. But now that you do have a residential use on the second floor, I would suggest, and I don't know if would want to make it required, but I do feel that the exterior of the house could use some beautification, if that's the right word. Where people live, we have a different standard than when it is used as a commercial space. And I think that in order to further the purpose of transforming the second floor into a residential use might trigger some kind of upkeep on the exterior as well. So would the applicant propose some, again, I can use the word beautification or improvement to the visual facade of the house? Because most of the improvements are in the back, you know, to the parking area, to the place where cars and vehicles, no one's, you know, staying there. But you're walking down Main Street, and we do see the facade of the building. It has a porch, if I recall, and it looks like a residence. So, that's my comment.
Understood,
And
understood.
would like to hear if there's some room for improvement.
Ms. Clarkson, I'll have the applicant testify as to that. She's here and she could testify as to what beautification needs to be done.
Thank you.
Chris?
Pertaining to the conditional use standards, just want to incorporate by reference the top of page 3 of my report. There's actually 3 specific conditions. What you mentioned was actually in the title of the conditional use and refers to 11087U. There's 3 specific conditions.
Okay.
I'm not going to repeat them, but will state that the applicant complies. And then I think I'll ask the applicant a separate question to make sure they confirm that they understand they cannot have medical, dental, veterinary, and clinic uses. That'll be my next question for the applicant. But the planner, I think, addressed all my points.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right. Again, board members, before this witness retires, any questions for him? Mr. DuPont? No? All right, Mr. DuPont, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. McEnroe, it's back to you.
I'd like to call our last witness, Carrie Tan, who is the representative for the applicant.
Okay.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay.
Okay. Now, please state your name and spell your last name.
Sure. Carrie Tam. My last name is Tam, Tam.
Okay.
And can you just tell us, you're the representative of the applicant, or what's your relationship?
I am the applicant.
Okay.
Ms. Tam, what's your relationship to 247 Main Street LLC?
I'm the member. I'm the owner.
Okay, thank you.
And 247 Main Street LLC is the owner of the property?
Yes, 247 Management LLC, yes.
Okay. And just briefly on your history of ownership through the company, can you just go through when you purchased it?
Sure. I purchased it like about 10 years ago, and when I first purchased it, it was like it's office usage. I'm a CPA, so I am on the first floor is my office also. And then because the pandemic, and a lot of my tenants, they move out, so the demand for the office space was dramatically decreased. So that's why I want to get the application for the usage as the residential apartment upstairs.
There's been some questions regarding maintenance or upkeep on the exterior. Do you have any intentions of doing anything like that?
Okay, my intention is after we got the permit, we start working on the second floor. We start to do the renovation, because I don't know exactly, how much will that cost me, but I plan to do it, like the signing, like to repaste the whole thing after we finish the renovation upstairs.
And on the first floor, is there any specific type of offices or professionals you're looking to rent to?
Yes, it's professional office, so like CPA office, attorney, and then maybe even architect, like, those type of the professional office.
Okay. And on the third floor, on the second floor, you want to convert that into an apartment?
Yes, if it's possible, I want to be a 3-bedroom apartment.
There you go. There you go. Got your answer.
Okay. Um, And I think that's all my questions.
Okay, very good. Well, we got that answered. That's great. Chris, I know you have questions. Why don't you jump right in?
I guess regarding the exterior finishing, you said you're going to side it. Are you planning to do fiber cement siding or vinyl or?
Wait, I'm sorry, can you say it one more time, your question?
You said you were well, someone said you were planning to do, to re-side the building.
Not to reside the building, it's just the siding, like,
Siding?
yeah, like the, oh.
I guess I'm asking because, given its, somewhat historical, nature of the property in the neighborhood,
Okay,
I would suggest not doing vinyl.
okay.
Just stick with fiber cement or wood siding. If not, try to just paint if you can. Obviously, I haven't looked at the building in that great detail, just the plans. I've done some site inspections, but I haven't looked at the,
Okay.
I guess we'll call it property maintenance issues. But I think what the borough's looking for is just with the upkeep. But I assume with the new tenant coming in, that'll give you revenue to make other improvements to the property.
Sure, yes.
But my suggestion would be don't do vinyl siding.
Oh, okay.
And you said you would like to do a 3-bedroom?
Yes.
Okay,
if it's possible.
so then I would just ask for revised plans, because I think you might want to rethink how the living room and dining room is set up then. Just want to make sure it's a livable space. So, but it could just be changing the word living room to bedroom. I think that might be sufficient, but I just want to finalize the plans before you get your permits.
Okay, sure.
I think that was everything.
Well, like you said, having a bathroom in your living room with the closet probably makes more sense as a bedroom, and now we know for sure that's what the applicant intended, so that was the biggie. What other ones did we miss there? Anything?
So, Chris, you mentioned it before, but hours of operation, do we
Yes.
have agreement on that as a condition?
Well, if we're not going to do the 7 spaces, then I think we probably need a condition or an agreement that you'll restrict the office use to 5 PM during the week.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you understand the professional offices are limited to what you describe, and you cannot have medical, dental,
Yes,
veterinary.
I understand.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
know,
Thank you.
yes.
We're good.
All right. What other things, board members?
Actually, and this is a question for Mr. McNord. Can you have this recorded somewhere? Can we do like a declaration of covenants or something like that? Just so, I mean, there's always an issue when it's something intangible like this. Always in mind of the prospective buyer, hypothetically, if you sold it. Sound like you don't want to, but hypothetically, how does the new buyer know that this property can't be operated, the businesses can't be operated after 5 PM, et cetera? So some sort of recording, a deed restriction, a declaration of covenants, but something that, directs to the resolution. That's okay as a condition?
That's acceptable. We
Okay.
could take care of
All
that,
right.
yes.
Nothing to it. All right,
There you go. Very important one, though, Adam. Thank you.
thanks.
So I just want to understand, it's going from 7 parking spaces to 5?
Yes, but there's enough room for overflow if needed. So it could still park 7, frankly.
So we're just not calling those 2 spaces on the side spaces?
Correct. Although, I mean, if the board has a concern regarding that, we could probably convert the lawn area to what we typically refer to as land bank spaces, such that if we get complaints in the future, the zoning officer could order the applicant to put gravel down and delineate 2 additional parking spaces. But I think it's probably better in the rear than on the side of the building, if that's what the board feels.
And then, so they wouldn't need a variance because it's not providing the number of spaces that, according to the,
I don't recall how we handled it in the past. We've done this many times, and I don't recall if we said it's in technical exception, but either way, the applicant will comply, whether it's there or not.
okay.
But truthfully, we don't know, we can understand that the business won't be operating nights and weekends, so when the residents come home, their spaces will be free. But we don't really know that the residents are driving to work every day. Like, they could be walking to the train, and then their cars could be taking up those spaces.
Right, I mean,
That could be very likely.
well, that's partly why we suggested the 5 PM restrictive covenant. Plus, if there is a complaint or an issue, the board could require the zoning official order the applicant to take the land bank spaces and just put gravel down. There's enough protections without requiring the applicant could go back to the board for such a ministerial thing.
I think also, because again, we've had this issue in the past with testimony about office use and tracking it. So perhaps if there's a new owner, if they have different professional uses, again, just have on record what the uses are when we approve this.
Yes, so I think the restricted
So
covenant
that-
does that, and I think we'll make clear, first of all, it's in the ordinance, it's going to be in the resolution, it's going to be a restricted covenant, they cannot have medical, dental, veterinary, and clinic uses. Other than that, I don't think it matters what kind of professional office, as long as each new tenant gets a zoning permit.
I'm just thinking informational, because again, you can have more than one office use on this first floor. So, again, just feel that we've had properties where tenants have changed and where we don't keep up with what the requirements are for those specific tenants. And all I'm saying is maybe just for informational purposes, if we could have in the file for this property what the current uses are, and maybe what, if there is a change, what the future uses.
I think
I
we
would like
have
to
that
just-
CPA, accounting office.
I don't know.
Sorry, just a comment, because I have been, ever since I got here, I have been internally in my process making sure to put down prior use to proposed use in each zoning permit, so we can track
Thank you.
what offices are coming into town and out of town, so we can kind of have that information. Yeah, exactly. But just to let you know, I am doing that currently, so we can have it,
Yeah.
and just in case if anything else comes and a new application comes in, we can know exactly what was there prior to what's being there proposed. But in this sense, if it's a permitted use,
Understand.
yeah, but I do jot down business, operation, square footage, things like that, just so we have that information in our zoning permits.
Right, I'm not suggesting that it's a zoning requirement, I'm just suggesting, again, as you say, information with regard to any specific property, just so that the history is known.
Well, let me ask you this, Ms. Tam, do you currently use the first floor yourself?
Yes.
And is it just you in that business?
What do you mean?
Are you the only employee using that building?
Yes.
Okay. Do you anticipate renting out the
No.
rooms? But if you,
Well, you mean renting out?
well, I mean, if you hire someone as part of your business, that's great. You're expanding your business. But if you were to rent out a room to a separate business, you will agree to get a zoning permit for that person?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I think the applicant made clear in a public setting that they have, anytime there's a person that comes to the building, they have to, coordinate with Monet. I think that should address a lot of your concerns.
Very good, putting it on the record. There it comes. Okay, other questions for Mrs. Tam? Miss,
I do, Chair. This might not be for you, Mrs. Tan. It could be for your professionals, I suppose. But I feel like I just need to vent a little bit of my frustration. I think the board's frustration with the fact that you came to us with an application for a two-bedroom apartment. And if our planner had not noticed on your plans that you had something that looked like a third bedroom, that would have never been brought up to us at all. Now, it doesn't really affect anything because the parking spaces don't change, but it does kind of get to these frustrations that we've had with applicants that have come before us before on numerous occasions with sort of incomplete applications or applications that are not correct. So I guess my question is, how did this get to us as a two-bedroom?
Well, we came in with the two-bedroom application, but, if it has to be two-bedroom, I'm fine with it too. But I thought, like as Chris said, if I have a choice, then I think a three-bedroom that I wanted. So, I mean, if you guys want two-bedroom, then 2-bedroom will be fine with me.
Sounds like it's more about specificity than anything else. Well, the board certainly has its choice. If you would prefer a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom, you can state your preference now. The applicant has indicated that she's willing to provide either, but I think the salient topic is the clarity of communication going forward, and ongoing challenge for sure. And we all got to do our very best, although DRC is doing a great job of helping rein that in. So, other questions for this witness? Do we have any? Chris, I see you.
Oh, I'm good. I talk too much.
I don't think so. That's all in the service of accuracy. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Tan.
Okay, thank you.
At this point, I'm going to say let's open the public portion so they can ask questions of your witnesses if they have any. So now I'm going to open the public portion. If you'd like to ask a question, come down to the microphone, tell us your name, give us your address, and tell us what's on your mind. And I don't see anyone with any questions. So knowing that, I'm going to go ahead and close the public portion.
What about making a statement?
Who would like to make a statement?
No, from the public.
That's what I was saying, specifically for this application. We'll open a broader public portion again afterwards, but specifically for these witnesses. And if that wasn't clear, that was what I was saying. If you're in the public and you'd like to ask one of this applicant's witnesses or the applicant themselves, now would be your opportunity. Again, I don't see anybody, so I think we're good with opening and closing as we did. Anybody feel differently? Okay, good. So now should we take inventory of what we've kind of agreed to so far, so we would have that clarity that I know Ellen demands and that Chris wants as well? Adam, would you be so kind?
Sure. So broadly, we got, Mr. McNor, you can confirm these for me. Agreement to comply with the board engineer's report, right? That was, I think, just broad agreement.
That's
right?
confirmed.
Okay. Agreement to coordinate with the board professionals, board planner regarding landscaping requirements, right?
That is agreed to.
Okay. There's going to be a recording, a declaration of covenants or something like that, about the restrictions on hours, and I think as well as the exclusion of the listed professional offices, medical, dental, veterinary offices, right?
Agreed to,
There?
yes.
Okay. There's conversation about siding and some of the more aesthetic architectural exterior designs. It sounded like the implication was that the applicant would agree to, again, work with the board professional to, is that fair, or?
Pretty sure the board professional didn't want vinyl siding specifically.
Well,
Or are we just
I
saying
don't
no
think I
vinyl
can
siding?
require
You-
it.
Okay.
No vinyl siding.
Okay, no vinyl siding is a condition. Also, there would be revised plans, right, submitted. That's another condition. Is there any condition that pertains to the parking issue? I don't think there is.
I think
That's
what we
a-
landed on, and
That's,
please correct me if I'm wrong, the applicant will be permitted to delineate 5 parking spaces.
Right.
And land bank 2 parking spaces in the former gravel in the rear yard, which is proposed to be lawn. If any tenant, any member of the public, or the applicant itself wants to bring those 2, or formalize 2 parking spaces, they will be permitted to do so, or may be required by the zoning official to do so as a condition of approval.
okay.
May I ask a question on that? Just so, with land banking, they therefore meet their requirements for parking by having those land banks. Is
That's-
that true, or you're not sure?
I'm trying to remember how we did in the past, but I think with land banking, we could argue that it meets the requirement.
Okay.
And as at any time there's a traffic or parking issue, they'll be required to add additional parking spaces. The hope is not, because we're trying to reduce impervious coverage.
Yep. We're trying to balance, right?
Yeah, we're trying to balance several things.
I have a question in that same regard. How does the determination for the accessible spot, like if you go from 7 to 5, does one of that 5 still have to be accessible?
Yeah, if I recall from the accessibility guidelines in New Jersey, when there's between 1 and 25 parking spaces, if a parking lot is so much as restriped, there must be at least 1 accessible parking space, and that first parking space must be van accessible. So 11 feet plus the 5-foot access aisle, or sometimes 8 and 8. So it's always, in essence, in any parking lot, there's always going to be 1 van accessible parking space.
there's no requirement for access to the building from that space.
That's, I think, under the Uniform Construction Code, from what I understand. Please don't quote me on this, although in a way you kind of are. I think when there's not a change of use to the ground floor, there's no requirement to rehabilitate the building to make it accessible to that ground floor. But I don't know if the conversion of the second floor apartment changes anything. That's going to be up to the construction department. In which case, there may be a ramp that might be required. And if it's completely in the backyard, I think I could work with the applicant to install that, make sure it doesn't infringe upon the parking area, and without requiring going back to the board.
And the condition that we have amended plans or updated plans, and that will identify the 3 rooms upstairs as bedrooms?
Yes.
Well, I think that's,
And
no, I think that was the question, Does the board want 2 or 3? Applicant's asking for 3.
Oh, okay.
We'll consent to 2. So whoever makes the motion, I guess, is going to say how many bedrooms they
No,
want.
actually, okay, and I'm just, my other question is, yeah, that the board can decide. But the stairway, that exterior stairway, and I'm assuming the front stoop, there are no other requirements with regard to access because it's a residence on the second floor?
I don't believe so, since it's less than 3 units in a mixed-use apartment building, there's no requirement for an elevator.
Just curious.
All good stuff. Adam, back over to you.
Okay. We briefly touched on an agreement that I think if light shielding was determined to be necessary, that the applicant would agree to provide same?
Yes.
Okay.
It's confirmed.
Got it. No AC unit near the, what is it?
If there is one, it will comply with the ordinance and be screened as per the ordinance.
Do you want, it was a condition the applicant would seek a zoning permit should there be a request for an expansion of the business by leasing to another entity, right?
Yeah. I don't think we need to condition it. That's just,
Okay, that's what I wasn't sure about.
yeah.
Okay. I think that's everything, and I was going to say, the only thing I'm unsure of at this point is whether the board intends to try to make a requirement about numbers of bedrooms. So.
Well, that's in the board's purview. Whoever makes a motion, we'll find out what they're asking for. Thank you, Adam.
I think that's everything. Anybody
Board members,
thinks I missed something?
what did we miss?
I don't think we missed anything, but I have a question about the light shielding. So what would happen is, like, a neighbor would be bothered by the light, and then they report it, so I don't know if it's probably not the right terminology.
I guess what we're saying is we're empowering the borough, if an adjacent property were to complain of light spill from, let's say there's a change of the luminaire and now cutoff angle is higher and it's going in the window at night and it's shining in their bedroom, right? We could put, mechanically you can shield a fixture, that's not the best way, right?
Yeah.
But Chris would probably specify a cutoff fixture that says, say, over a certain degree, angle of incidence, as they say, that there would be no light trespass, but I feel very confident that Chris knows how to do that. So we're giving him the legal mechanism to do that, although it probably won't be necessary based on what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's more of a property maintenance issue. And if anything, we're just putting on the record, if there's an issue, if neighbors are around here, say, yes, there is an issue, I just want to make sure they're being heard.
That's what I meant. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's an important point because, light trespass is a real problem. Don't get me started. Never thought that. Okay, what else did we miss? Nothing? All right, well then, whatever is in the board's inclination, the chair will entertain a motion for this application.
So just to clarify, if it, which I think Mr. Delia had said this, regardless of whether it's 2 or 3 bedrooms, nothing else needs to change because it's the same amount of parking spots. So there's no other ramifications or what have you of having 2 versus 3. It's just a preference. Like, obviously, if someone thought they had more ability to rent it versus, whatever it is, just a regular conversation with a 2 or 3 bedroom. But as far as it pertains to decisions we're making, everything that we just listed is the same, whether it's 2 or 3.
I think it would be more accurate to say, if there's a third bedroom, the applicant will require 0.1 more parking spaces, but by virtue of the applicant providing 7, assuming 2 of them are land banked, they still comply.
Right, because it was 4.7, which they were having 5 anyways.
Yeah, that doesn't change, yeah.
Right, okay.
Was that a motion of some kind, or?
Oh,
I would just, I'll just add my legal 2 cents that imposing a requirement on that, like that, should be grounded by some kind of consideration. For example, parking. Parking would be an obvious one. In this case, though, the planners already stated that they'd be compliant either way. So to require a limitation on the bedrooms, there should be some kind of grounding in it that I don't think we have on the record. So, absent that, I don't think the board has any authority on the record at the moment to restrict it like that, so.
Well,
But if we're approving a 2-bedroom, an application for a 2-bedroom, and then it becomes a 3-bedroom, it's not really what we approved.
To kind of piggyback on that. So if you approved a 2-bedroom today with 7 parking spaces, who says that a year later they don't do interior renovations for a 3-bedroom, and technically they still meet parking requirements? I can't make them come back to the board.
Okay, that's
So,
kind of what I was asking.
Yeah, it's kind of
What we
semantics.
think we're signing off on versus what is really happening at any point.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, I guess that would be the best, if the board wanted to do that, that would probably be the best avenue to do so.
And again, I think it's important to note that the applicant voluntarily, willingly, of their own free will, offered to do 2 or 3. The board isn't
Right.
trying to wrangle anything out of anybody.
That is
And
true.
again, I think the councilman's point about just clarity and what we're doing going forward in accuracy is really key. So I think.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback on that. I was not necessarily suggesting one over the other. I was just pointing out
Right.
that this is what was presented to us and it has changed in front of us. And
As it often does, and
Yes.
far too frequently, yes. Okay, so again, I'm going to say, anyone who's of the mind to make a motion, we'd love to hear one way or the other. Approve it, deny it, and throw a description of how many bedrooms on there if you could. Be so kind.
I'm willing to make it, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get all those things. So, to remember that. And I'm willing to make it for a 3-bedroom. So, but I,
That's okay. That's absolutely, you know.
okay. So I just say motion to approve.
Okay, so I'm being reminded that there's a difference between a question and a statement, and that's a good point, because I always want to bulldoze through this very quickly. And that's what Ellen was trying so kindly to remind my geriatric mind that he didn't get it. So technically, we must actually allow the public to also make a statement. So since I didn't do that, and I apologize for that, I'm going to now open the public to make a statement. Not ask a question, but just make a statement of any kind. And I'm going to look once, I'm going to look twice, and I'll look 3 times and say sold. And I see no one in the public wanting to make a statement. Thank you all for reminding me to do that. Sufficient clarity, council?
Indeed.
Thank you very much. All right, we have a motion from Ms. Cohen to approve it as per the language that our council has so generously provided, along with various other verbiage from other members, and with 3 bedrooms. Is there a second?
I second it.
All right, very good. Joanne, could you go through the ranks, please?
Ms. Clarkson?
Yes.
Ms. Cohn?
Yes.
Mr. Delia?
yes.
Mr. Grossman?
Yes.
Ms. Koskowski?
Yes.
Mr. Westrick?
Yes.
Mr. Erickson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Application is approved. Congratulations. Good luck. Okay. What else do we have this evening?
Thank you.
Okay. Can I please have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for January 15th of this year?
So moved.
Okay, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There are none opposed.
I'm gonna abstain because I was not at that.
And those who weren't here, don't vote? Okay, there you go. Minutes are approved. Do we need to reopen the public again? Seeing that we had no takers twice?
I guess just for the.
Okay, let's do it again. Open the public portion one more time. Okay, seeing no one, we'll close the public portion. Anybody care to discuss anything else, or are we moving to adjourn?
I would like to just bring up an item that has been brought to my attention from the powers that be.
Okay,
We are going digital. I will no longer be delivering paper packets. Having said that, I want to say that I can still do paper packets for those of you who would prefer them. The only caveat there is you would either have to pick it up here at the borough during business hours, 8 to 4, but if not, I can bring it to the library and they are open late. So you have options.
I'm going to say definitely one for Ellen, and I'll come bring it to her house, 100%.
You are very kind.
I don't mind coming to Borough
And-
Hall, 8 to 4.
I have time now, I'm more than happy to do that, so definitely one for
Although
Ellen.
I frequent the library, no problem.
There you go.
I'm very happy to walk it down from the library.
Does anybody else have a ironclad preference right now? And it's okay if you do.
I remember Mr. Lifton having a pretty strong preference for paper.
Okay, so let's just put it on the record that we want to ask Mr. Lifton next
Yes,
time he's
thank
here.
you. I
right?
will.
And 100% yes for Ellen. And then, Alan, you have a preference?
As far as digital,
Yes, digital
paper.
versus paper.
I'm fine with digital, but I would not mind getting a paper.
Okay, so
You
let's
got
say
it.
100% for
Of
Alan.
course.
And I'll pick
And
this
then,
up
of
to if you
course,
want.
understand if we have if, God forbid, we had another Wawa come into Metuchen, I would be happy to provide paper for
Thank you,
that.
Madam
You know what I'm
Secretary.
saying? There's going to be exceptions down the road. Planning board does bring in some big business, so.
For sure. And we appreciate your generous offer there.
Can
Okay.
we
Yes.
suggest at least when the applicant goes to TRC and they come to the board, I know they show the plans up on the screen, but again, not only are they small, but they are really distant. So maybe when they appear before the board, to have an option for a site plan that's maybe more visible to everyone. Because really, to show a lot on a screen that, even for the people, the public in the audience, I mean, you can't identify.
Maybe we can
things
cast it
that
onto a
are-
tablet. We could get like a tablet here and then like that, right?
Yeah, I was going to suggest,
We used to use a board and they put up
Nope.
a big
Yes, in our
sheet
day,
on a
we would have
board.
a big ledger.
I'm just suggesting that perhaps, there is more information conveyed when the presentation is either on paper or just larger.
We'll give the
And
people in the
what's
front row a
accounting for-
binoculars so they can look up this thing. That's as much as.
yeah, the only thing I would suggest is with boards, they're going to be equally small, and you won't be able to zoom in. I think we just need to tell the applicant to
Zoom
be
in,
savvy
yeah.
Yes.
and use the control button and the wheel mouse to
So
zoom
much could
in.
be gained just through stagecraft, right? If this, how you said it and how you showed it, but
Yes, just zoom in.
Zoom in. Anyway, thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Anything else, guys, gang? No? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We are adjourned. Thank you all.